In the last video, I made my ball bounce off the sides of my screen. And today, I'm basically going to make my ball bounce off in random directions as it collides with either of my paddles. To do this, I'm basically going to check for collision between my ball and both of my paddles. But more specifically, I need to see when my ball's x and y coordinates are the same as my paddle's x and y coordinates. To do this, go inside my while loop, and here I basically want to create some if statements which basically compare the ball's x and y coordinates to each of my paddle's x and y coordinates. And I'm just going to call this paddle and ball collision. Okay, so starting off with my first paddle, what I basically want to do is I want to see if my ball's x coordinate is less than my paddle's x coordinates. So I'm basically going to say if ball dot x coordinate is less than negative 340, which is roughly the paddle's x coordinates, right? So now that I compared my ball's x coordinate to my paddle's x coordinate, I basically want to check to see if my ball's y coordinate is in between the bottom part of my paddle and the top part of my paddle in terms of their y coordinates. But before doing so, I first need to figure out two things. One, I'll be figuring out the exact y coordinate of the bottom part of my paddle, and the other will be figuring out the exact y coordinate of the top part of my paddle. Okay? And to do this, I'm just going to pull up a representation of my Pong game. And if you remember from previous tutorials, I talked about how there's an x-axis running across the center of my screen. And because of this, if my paddle has a length of 100 pixels from top to bottom, that means that the y coordinate at the top here is going to be my paddle's y coordinate at the center plus 50 pixels. And the y coordinate at the bottom here is going to be my paddle's y coordinate at the center minus 50 pixels. Okay? And what I basically need to do now is to see if my ball's y coordinate is anywhere between these 2 points. And that's how I know that there's a collision. So I'm just going to continue my if statement, and here I'm basically going to type and paddle1 dot y coordinate minus 50 is less than ball dot y coordinate, which is less than paddle1 dot y coordinate plus 50. Okay, and just to explain what I did, I basically used the word and here. And what this word does is that both my first condition and my second condition have to be true in order for my code inside of my if statement to be executed. So both my ball's x coordinate has to be less than negative 340 and my ball's y coordinate has to be between the bottom part of my paddle and top part of my paddle in order for a collision to be detected. And once I do detect a collision between my ball and my paddle, I basically want to bounce the ball away in a random direction. And I'm basically going to do this by coming down here and saying ball dot set heading. Okay? And here I basically want to set my ball's heading to be either 45 degrees above or 45 degrees below, based on a 50-50 chance. And to do this, the first thing I need to do is to go up to the very top of my file, or my program, and basically under where it says import turtle, I'm going to import a module called random, okay? And this is what allows me to randomly choose between two angles, okay? And now all I need to do is to go inside my set heading method, and here I basically want to randomly choose between a 45-degree angle and then 315 angle, okay? So I'm just going to say random dot choice, and I'm just going to open up two parentheses, and inside these parentheses I want to open up two square brackets, okay? And inside here I'm basically going to specify my two angles, so 45 and 315, okay? And you might be thinking, why did you put 315 here? And the reason for that is because in Turtle, 315 is basically the same as southeast, okay? So my ball is either going to bounce away in the northeast direction, which is 45 degrees, or in the southeast direction, which is 315 degrees. So now if I run my program, but actually before doing so, I'm going to set my ball's initial heading to 135 degrees so that it moves towards the left direction, okay? So I'm just going to come up here to where I set my ball's heading, and I'm just going to change it to 135, okay? So now if I run my program, you'll see that when my ball collides with my paddle, it bounces away in either the northeast direction or the southeast direction, which in this case is bounced off in the northeast direction. But let's say if I run it again, see, it will go in the other direction, okay? And the direction the ball goes is based on a 50-50 chance, right? And so all that's left to do now is to implement a collision and bounces system for my right paddle. And to do so, I can just come down here and copy what I had previously, and now instead of saying if, I could just say else if. So basically, otherwise if my ball hits my right paddle, this is going to happen. But I do need to change a couple of things here. The first thing I need to change is my first condition. So here where it says ball.x coordinate is less than negative 340, I need to change it to ball.x coordinate is greater than 340, okay? And I obviously want to change my paddle 1s here to paddle 2s, since we're using the paddle 2s y coordinates, right? And now the last thing I need to change is the angles I want to bounce my ball at. So since I want my ball to bounce towards the left side of my stream, I need to angle my ball towards either the northwest direction or the southwest direction, okay? And in Turtle, the angle for those is 135 and 225 respectively. So I'm just going to go inside my square brackets here, and I'm just going to randomly choose between 135 and 225, okay? Instead of 45 and 315, okay? So now if I go up to where I set my ball's initial heading and change it back to 45 and run my program, you will see that when my ball collides with my second paddle, it bounces off in either the northwest direction or the southwest direction, as you saw right there. And you can see that if I continue playing my game with my first paddle, I can easily pass it to my second paddle, and so on, just as I expected. So there you go.